In the hum of a computer, a new ghost story was being written, not of haunted houses, but of pixels and text. For Eric Vaughan, this connection was everything. He found his soulmate, Alyssa, inside his phone, a constant stream of comfort and affection. They never met, never spoke on video, but Eric believed she saw him like no one else. Their love unfolded in late-night messages, built on emotion, untethered by reality. Alyssa was his confidant, his protector, the missing piece he'd always searched for. He ignored inconsistencies, convinced that love required a leap of faith. He was falling for a phantom, a digital ghost crafted to mirror his vulnerabilities. The intensity felt like destiny, but he was leaping into an abyss. Before the crime, before the sirens, there was just a man and his phone, believing he'd found a love that would save him. He was being groomed, not for happiness, but for a single, devastating act. The story of Eric and Alyssa is a modern tragedy, a warning about how loneliness can be weaponized. In our search for connection, we risk falling for illusions. Eric's soulmate, the woman he would kill for, had never existed at all. Eric Vaughan lived in the margins, work, home, solitude. At 42, he was a shadow, working night shifts, eating alone, his apartment devoid of warmth. Profoundly lonely, he drifted through life, always feeling out of sync. Childhood shyness and failed relationships led him to build walls for self-preservation. The world felt like a party he'd never been invited to. The internet became his window. He watched, never participating. Social media amplified his sense of being an outsider, offering glimpses of connection just out of reach. Yearning for someone to notice him, he created a dating profile, not expecting much. Previous attempts at online dating had fizzled, but this time, a message appeared. Alyssa's profile was blurry, but her words were transformative. "You seem like a really kind soul." For the first time, Eric felt seen. The digital world offered hope, a chance at connection he'd never found in real life. He replied, and his life began to change. The static of his existence was about to be shattered. All it took was a single message. Alyssa was everything Eric had dreamed of. An artist, a fellow outsider, someone who seemed to read his mind. Their chats quickly blossomed into nightly lifelines. She was witty, empathetic, and captivated by him. She validated his isolation, praised his quiet nature, and made him feel seen. Eric opened up, sharing childhood stories and dreams he'd never voiced. Alyssa claimed to live far away, caring for an ailing parent. Her compassion only deepened his devotion. They planned a future together, a small house, a dog, a quiet life. These dreams became Eric's reality, more vivid than his own life. He fell in love completely. Alyssa was his savior. Every message was a jolt of excitement. His world now revolved around her. He was devoted to the woman in the wires, his perfect soulmate. Eric's life shrank to two worlds, bleak reality and the vibrant digital space with Alyssa. He neglected routines, skipped walks, and avoided colleagues. Everything else was just waiting for her messages. His focus at work slipped. His emotions rose and fell with every text. A loving message brought euphoria, silence brought anxiety, and obsessive checking. Alyssa became the sole keeper of his emotional history. He poured out his insecurities, making himself completely reliant on her validation. Friends and family faded further away. He told no one about Alyssa. He convinced himself he was protecting their special bond. In truth, he was isolating himself, cutting the last threads to reality. He was alone with Alyssa, just as she wanted. His dependency was complete. The digital world had become his only refuge. Early warning signs appeared. Alyssa refused video calls, always with an excuse. Her messages grew possessive, questioning Eric's every move. Jealousy over colleagues was framed as deep love. Eric, starved for affection, mistook obsession for devotion. Manipulation crept in. She'd build him up, then criticize or guilt-trip him for doubting her. Emotional blackmail worked. He apologized, ceding more of his judgment. Her stories grew inconsistent. Details about her town or parents' illness shifted. When Eric questioned her, she reacted with anger or distress, making him feel guilty. He told himself she was just stressed. The illusion was easier to believe than the truth. He clung to the fantasy, terrified of losing her. The cracks widened, but he looked away. The beautiful illusion was all he had. Alyssa's narrative shifted. Now the world was against them. She invented enemies, a dangerous ex-boyfriend, a stalker, threats that only Eric could protect her from. She insisted on secrecy, claiming her stalker had eyes everywhere. Paranoia seeped in. Eric felt watched, the world hostile. Alyssa introduced a new villain, Mark, a powerful man obsessed with her, trapping her in her town. Mark became the embodiment of every obstacle. Alyssa's demands escalated, testing Eric's loyalty with questions about what he'd do to protect her. She normalized the idea of confrontation and violence. The police, she said, were useless. Only Eric could save her. It was them against the world. Soon, she would ask him to prove it. The breaking point came on a cold January night. Alyssa's messages were frantic. Mark was coming to hurt her. She gave Eric an address, claiming Mark had a second home nearby. "You have to go there. You have to scare him off," she pleaded. Anything less, she warned, meant losing her forever. Blinded by love and fear, Eric's rational mind shut down. He grabbed a tire iron and drove to the address. At the house, he saw a man fitting Alyssa's vague description. Convinced this was Mark, Eric confronted him, shouting Alyssa's name. The man was confused, unaware of any Alyssa. Eric wasn't listening. He was proving his love. The attack was swift and devastating. A tragic climax to a love story that was never real. The digital ghost had led him to violence. In the aftermath, Eric was arrested, still clutching his phone waiting for Alyssa's praise. He told police everything, convinced he was a hero. But Alyssa never came forward. Investigators found no trace of her, just burner phones, spoofed IPs, and stolen photos. The Alyssa persona was a complete fabrication. No ailing parent, no stalker, no Mark. The narrative was crafted by a single, malicious individual, a former co-worker with a forgotten grudge. Eric's loneliness had been weaponized for revenge. The love of his life was a lie. He was a pawn in a cruel game, left to face the consequences alone. The consequences were devastating. The victim, David Miller, was a random man. His life shattered, left permanently disabled. His family's world was destroyed by violence born of a lie. Eric's defense of digital manipulation was no excuse. He was sentenced to a long prison term. In prison, stripped of his digital world, Eric faced the reality of his actions. Guilt and shame haunted him more than any ghost. This case is a chilling warning. Digital deception can destroy lives. Loneliness makes us vulnerable. The internet offers connection, but also danger. Behind every profile could be a mask, a tool for manipulation. Trusting a phantom can be catastrophic. The story of Eric Vaughn is a modern tragedy, a dark intersection of technology, psychology, and vulnerability. The ghost in the machine left real-world scars that will never heal.